Today's episode is day 3 of a 5-part series to help you launch your firm into 2024. Each day this week, we're dropping a new episode to guide you in setting up your firm for next year in 1 hour per day. If you haven't listened to the first 2 episodes, go back and listen to them first and then come back here. Today's hour will be spent on operations. Let's go.
Run your law firm the right way. This is the Maximum Lawyer Podcast. Your hosts, Jim Hacking and Tyson Mutrux. Let's partner up and maximize your firm. Welcome to the show.
All right, so let's now go over to operations, Jimbo. So we are now on day 3. It is Thursday. This would make it the 28th. And you've got your hour, Jimmy. Go.
So if I have 1 hour to look at my operations, I'm going to spend that hour looking at our accountability chart or org chart, trying to figure out what are the 5 most important things for each role. I'm going to ask myself, are these 5 things being met? How regularly are they? How would I score them on this? We just did this with our whole team. We assessed each person in the firm to see how they're doing and how the requirements of the job are being met or not. And you'll just get great clarity if you understand what the 5 most important things are for that job. Hopefully you've done that work already. If you haven't, then I think if you don't have clarity yourself as a law firm owner as to what this person's role is and what they should be doing, then how can you expect them to have clarity on what they're supposed to be doing? And a lot of times it's simply because people are doing too many things. Right. So one of the nice things about having areas of responsibility and things that people know that they're in charge of is that it reduces overwhelm and it allows for accountability. So I think being crystal clear as you come out of the gates as to how your firm is operating now, because it's fundamentally going to be different than just 12 months ago. So I think you surprise yourself. For us, there's been growth, but there doesn't necessarily have to be growth. It's just turnover or, changes in functions or greater prioritization given to other parts of the firm. So I think that, a law firm, a LLC, a corporation is a living, breathing thing, just like a family or a person. And you've got to be able to track those changes that have happened, the growth of the firm, and then adapt accordingly.
Yeah. And I would say this, be thinking about what your strategy is if you do choose to grow. So we have actually a very specific way that we are adding each team. And it's something that we had to sort of think out, because anybody that works in pods, if you think about it, it's very expensive every time you add a new team. Okay. Every time you add a new team, especially if people that have 3, 4, 5 people in their team, if you've got, 1 or 2 people, it's cheap. Or if it's one person, it's not a team. But if you have two or more, it can be pretty expensive. So instead of adding a case manager plus an attorney and then maybe, a litigation assistant, like that's 3 people. That's a lot of salaries. That's a lot of overhead. How are you going to expand to get to that new team without having to add that team all at one time? So be thinking about things like that. How are you going to, whenever you're looking at that org chart, like Jim's talking about, how do you do that? Which person do you hire first? And then which one do you hire second? Which one do you hire third? And then how do you make sure that's its separate team by itself? So those are the things you're going to be thinking about, especially. And that's one of the benefits of using the pod system is that's also sort of the downfall too, because not downfall, but it's one of the downsides where it can be more expensive to add that team, but it does give you that flexibility that you don't have to just add a team at a time. With my hour though, Jim, it's interesting because you were focusing on people. I would focus on process, where I'm going through all of our processes and figuring out where can I trim the fat? Where are things that we're just doing extra things, or where are there redundancies? Where are there issues with the workflows? Right before this call, I had just gotten done meeting with Blue Team, and I got a lot of great information from them when it comes to workflows and maybe switching where tasks need to be. So, some tasks pop up whenever we change it to one phase, and maybe it should be the phase before that. So figuring out, looking at each one of these, and if you don't have all these in some centralized location, maybe you spend your hour working on that, where you put everything in one place. That way you have an idea as to what does everything look like? What do all the workflows look like? Obviously, you're not going to get all of your workflows in one place in 1 hour, but you can at least start on it, or you can get big picture what it looks like. So during that time, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at, it's process optimization. How do my workflows look, and what needs to change?
Thanks for listening to the Maximum Lawyer Podcast. To stay in contact with your host and to access more content, go to MaximumLawyer.com. Have a great week and catch you next time.